Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with yet another deck tech for one of the face commanders from the commander decks that we're not getting, but have been programmed in by those great people at Daybreak Games. So I really do actually appreciate them programming it in. There's been some feedback that I've had on some of the posts I made, but no, I appreciate everything Daybreak do. So would be nice to see the commander decks, but if we can't see the commander decks, at least we have some of the face commanders, and this is one of the ones that I think, there's two creature types that really set Ixalan apart in the past. Pirates and dinosaurs. Dinosaurs tomorrow. Today is Admiral Brass Unsinkable though. Two blue, black and red for a 3/3 human pirate, and when the Admiral enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. Okay, at the beginning of combat on our turn, you may return target pirate card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it has base power and toughness 4/4. It gains haste until the end of turn. Okay then, finality counters, it says on there, just the counter that said if a creature with a finality counter on it would die, exile it instead. So it's just, they're just using the word finality now instead of having that text on, or they've put it on here for some reason, but it's the first time it's been used this set, so we'll get used to it. Anything like the trample counters and so on and so forth, we'll get used to finality counters. Now I'm going to be honest, I looked at this deck and I did try and find a way to take counters off permanents and remove counters, and I'm going to be honest, I couldn't find any to do it in these three colours. Solemnity, I know, means counters can't go on things, so that would work. If you can find a way of playing 4 colour pirates by adding white and playing Solemnity, that would work. But for the purposes of this video, I've had to ignore it, and I've just had to go right. And I'll be really honest, this deck tech is purely going to be very similar. It's going to be pirate tribal. Because, it's a pirate deck. What else are you going to do? So we've got Admiral Brass to start off the deck with, of course, and then we have some of the new ones. So we have got Greedy Freebooter in, because obviously the main set's going to be on MtGO. It's just the commander set we're having problems with. So Greedy Freebooter will be there, and when it dies, we get to scry 1 and get a treasure token, which is not bad for 1 mana 1/1. Impulsive Pilferer does something similar for us. Notice it's still a pirate. When it dies, we get a treasure token. And Captain Storm Consium Aradia is here. So the Captain Storm is back again. And whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. Okay. Daring Saboteur can't be blocked, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and discard a card. So a little bit of looting. Dire Fleet Captain, original Ixalan card. Whenever it attacks, gets +1/+1 until the end of turn for each other attacking pirates. This gets big quickly. And the Daredevil, the Dire Fleet Daredevil comes in to nick someone's exile, an instant or sorcery from a graveyard, and then you can cast it this turn. And spend mana as though it was mana of any of that type to cast that spell. And then you exile the spell at the end of the day. This is a late play pirate, unless you really do need a 2/1 first strike blocker really early in the game. It's going to be a late game pirate, so just bear that in mind. Dire Fleet Poisoner, however, is an early game pirate. Mainly because it's quite nice to flash this in and block another big creature and kill it, because it gives +1/+1 and death touch to your pirate. That's attacking, so it's not, sorry, when it's an attacking pirate, not when it blocks. So you attack, something blocks it, you flash this in, you give it a death touch. If it's bigger, it's dead. Well, it's dead anyway, but whatever. Yeah, okay, Dockside Pirate is an extortion. Dockside Extortionist is a pirate. Yep, okay, it's in the deck. End of. Kari Zev, Skyship Raiders, also making an appearance from Ether Revolt. Another pirate. Has first strike menace, and you get the monkey. You get Ragavan. Obviously, there's not Ragavan, the current Ragavan, in there. It's far too expensive on MtGO, so that hasn't appeared in this deck yet. But you can, if you've got it and you want to put it in, you can do, but I prefer the token. Metallic Mimic is a pirate. Okay. Stormfleet Swashbuckler. As long as we've got the City's Blessing, we get to get the Ascend on, and it has double strike as long as you have the City's Blessing, so potentially you should be able to do that quite easily, and that gives you a 2 mana 2/4 2/2 double striker. That's pretty good. Wily Goblin comes into play and gives us a treasure. Baral and Kari Zev are here because, well, yeah, They produce another version of Ragavan if you want it to. It's still a pirate. We've got, you know, if you're going to have one version of Kari's, every month will have the other version in. So it's here. Breaches. Eager Pillager is one of the new cards. 3/3, 3 mana, 1, 2, and a 2. 2 colours and a red for a 3/3 goblin. Has first strike, and whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that has been chosen this turn. Get a treasure token. Target creature can't block. Exile the top card of your library you may play at this turn. A very nice 3/3 for 3 first striking creature, irrelevant of all the extra stuff it does if you've got a lot of pirates. Broadside Bombardiers is one of the other few cards that have been programmed in at the moment on MtGO from the Commander deck. This one I like. 3 mana for a 2/2. Menace and Haste. Okay, but Boast. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. It deals damage to 2 plus the sacrifice permanent's mana value to any target. So at the worst, it's going to be you sacrifice treasure, you get shock. It's going to be potentially, a lightning bolt on char that doesn't do you any damage, and it just gets better and better and better from there. So it should be worth picking this up and getting this going as soon as you can. Captain Lannery Storm, yep, we'll have treasure tokens for when they attack. That's fine. Don't like this artwork. Ignore this artwork. It's just because I'm using Goldfish and it doesn't pick up the normal artwork. Captain Ripley Vance. Whenever you cast your third spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the captain, and then it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Casting 3 spells a turn may be a bit tough, but we have enough ways of doing it, so it's a possibility we'll get it to come off. The Corsair Captain, this was originally in Jumpstart, and it comes into battlefield, gives you a treasure token, and all your other pirates get +1/+1 permanently. Very nice. Front runner of the Coalition, just another way of going and finding a pirate card, putting it on top of your library, so yeah. And then whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses a life. So a little bit draining going on if you keep it in play. Malcolm Kenai Navigator, one or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents. You create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. Okay. Protean Raider gets to come in as long as you've attacked this turn. For the raid ability to trigger, you get to copy any creature on the battlefield. That's nice. Sailor of Means just gives us a treasure token. Trove Tracker, when it dies, gives us a card, and we get to do the whole on-call thing, so it comes back in and you get 1 copy for each opponent and you have to attack each opponent with it, so that's pretty cool. I had to play the original Admiral Brass Beckett because it'd be pointless otherwise. Pump all your pirates up. At the beginning of your end step, gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who was dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. I like nicking my opponent's stuff. It's good. Azure Fleet Captain makes you become the Monarch and can't be blocked by creatures the Monarch controls. Captivating Crew lets you nick creatures. Corsairs of Umbra. This was... Sorry. Where are we? There we are. Can't remember what set this was from though, but it's definitely around. Whenever Corsairs of Umbra deals combat damage to a player, Mass Orc Serious Lord of the Rings Commander. Sorry, that was it. Yeah, so it can make your pirates unblockable for 3 mana. That's pretty good. Direfleet Netbreaker, everything attacking gets +2/+0. Emberwild Captain, you become the Monarch, and when an opponent attacks you while you're the Monarch, it deals damage equal to the player equals the number of cards in their hand. So a little bit of damage if they want to take the monarchy off you. Hostage Taker is Hostage Taker still. Nick something, play it as soon as you can. Merchant Raiders, this or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control. You get to basically stun a creature for a turn. Well, it's a bit better than that. I said this yesterday in yesterday's video. I keep forgetting. It stays tapped as long as you don't, during its own shot, as long as we've got the Merchant Raiders in play. And since it's a 2/4, it's a little bit difficult to remove. Ramos de Petretro Pillager. Enters the battlefield, we lose 2 life and gain 2 treasure tokens. But whenever one or more pirates you control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You may cast that card as long as it remains exiled. So it's a nice way of nicking your opponent's stuff. Oh, Rowdy Crew has Trample. Into the battlefield, draw 3, then discard 2 cards. If 2 cards that share a type are discarded this way, comes into play with a couple of +1/+1 counters on it. So potentially you're paying 4 mana for a 5/5 Trample. That's pretty good. Zephyr Singer enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on each creature that convoked it, so make sure you convoke with your big stuff. Corsive Recruiter, this or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of the target creature. Basically, you do the whole let's nick them for a turn and, yeah, attack with them because they have haste. Yeah, fine, cope with that. Direfleet Ravager, a little bit more dangerous, unless you've got the win on the board and you need to knock someone's life total down. Enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of his or her life rounded up. That includes you. It's each player, not each opponent. A little bit risky, but it does work quite nicely with some of the creatures. Port Razor deals combat damage to a player. Untap each creature to get another attack step. But this one can't. This can attack again, but has to attack someone different. So go for the person who's got no creatures in play the first time, so you get the untapping, and then send Port Razor somewhere else that's probably going to end up getting it killed. But hey ho. Prosperous Pirates gives you a couple of treasure tokens. Zara Renegade Recruiter. Yeah, this is good. Attacks, look at defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from it onto the battlefield under your control, taps and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. I could quite easily see me nicking someone's, I don't know, Moonshaker Cavalry, Craterhoof Behemoth, etc., 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 and just winning there and then. So that's pretty good. Boarding Party, it's just there because we've got the Cascade ability. It has got haste, so you do get in with your 6/3 and maybe your Cascaded creature. Ramirez di Pietro. I decided to go back to Legends and play the original version of it. This has got First Strike. Very expensive, 6 mana, 4/3 First Striker. But hey, you had to have the Ramirez di Pietro in the first place. Yeah, I know they got upgraded to be the Pillager, but the artwork's still fun from the original one. And Angrath's Marauders, 7 mana, doubles all the damage that would be dealt to a player or permanent controls instead. Terminate, a little bit of control, along with Chaos Warp. Jessicai's Will, because we're playing a red deck, mana and card draw. Toxic Deluge controls the board a bit more. Wheel of Fortune, I've included it in this deck because, as you can see on MtGO, it's 2.19 tickets, so it's not the end of the world. Tabletop land, $282, which is why this deck is coming out so expensive so moment. So you can take it out quite happily. But as I said, these decks I'm doing this week are all based for MtGO, so it's worth having the Wheel of Fortune there, in my mind. Damnation's here to blow the board up if we need it to. Pirates Pillage for a little bit of discard, draw to create a couple of treasure tokens. Patriarch's Bidding is probably more important in this deck because we are trying to keep our creatures in play. So, we choose pirates as our creature type. Hopefully we're not playing against another tribal deck, otherwise it gets very dodgy, but it's still good fun. Brass's Bounty gives us more treasure tokens, and Blasphemous Act. Sorry, where are we? There, Blasphemous Act. Control the board even more. Ramp wise, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. Each of the talismans that we need to go with the colours of our creatures. I've also included Treasure Map because at the end of the day, hello Treasure Map, you're going to show up today? No, we're just going to do this. You should remember what Treasure Map does, so I'll leave it there. It's not showing up for today. Herald's Horn, because, yeah, it's a tribal deck at the end of the day. Might as well have it here. Icon of Ancestry, same reason. Another tribal deck, pumps all our creatures up. We get to go and look them off the top of our library. And Urza's Incubator cuts the cost down of our wonderful creatures, which means that our card, wherever it's gone now, can't find it now, that needs us to cast 3 or more spells, does go off quite often when this happens, because it takes basically all our pirates down to their coloured mana cost. 2 enchantments, Reflections of Litigara, just so I can go pirate and just get a copy of that spell every turn. So, all our non-legendary creatures get copied, which is quite nice. Bit of a pirate ensemble. Oh, look at me using big words. And then Revelant Riches, because at the end of the day, we are going for lots of treasure tokens, and this does give us another win condition if we've got 10 or more. Mana-wise, kept it really simple. We're only playing 35 because most of it is quite low cost, and we do have a fair amount of ramp for a change. But, every blue, black and red land you can think of is here. I have included Field of the Dead and Fable Passage just to go and find the basic we may need, and Field of the Dead so we get some zombies out. I've also gone with the Exotic Orchard just for a bit of a change because we are playing 3 colours. We're bound to be playing against someone who has one of our 3 colours in play. It's a very high possibility. Well, I reckon it's more or less guaranteed we're going to get at least one of the colours we need. If you're very unlucky to play 3 white or 3 green or 3 green white decks, really sorry for you on MtGO. So yeah, beyond that, Reliquary Towers here in case anything gets bounced, along with Temple of the False God. I could have gone a bit more heavy on the spells, I'm aware of that. You know, if Wheel of Fortune could become the mass bounce spell whose name I've completely forgotten, or Chain Reaction. Yeah, so bear that in mind, but I quite like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun trying to get the Admiral Brass Unsinkable to win. If you do know a way of removing finality counters from creatures, please let me know, because I might have to rework the deck. So let me know in the comments down below. Please hit the sub button. I'm really hoping I can hit 500 by the end of the year. I'm currently sitting, as he says, looking it up on his phone, 277, I think. 276, there you go. Yeah, so if people can go and hit the button, really appreciate it. It's just kind of here somewhere next to me or over my head. I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. It'd be great. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with, well, the dinosaur that I haven't covered yet. Take care. Hopefully you come and see tomorrow's video. See you soon. Bye.